Hi everyone. Good evening. Uh, let's wait for 5 more minutes so more people can join, as it's still 6:29. Whoever has anything to talk about, you can drop a message in the chat box, and we'll talk about the queries or whatever it is at the end of the session where we'll be discussing about it. Good evening, everyone. For the people who might already know me personally or through the walks that we do, you already know me. But for new people, I'm Pranav. I'm a marine biologist and a wildlife conservationist from Vizag. And we started an organization called East Coast Conservation Team. And we have been doing awareness, conservation, and other activities that helps in conservation of marine life here. So today we are going to learn basics about marine life around us. We'll be talking about marine life in general and also about marine life that we see in Andhra Pradesh specifically. So let's get into it. And if anyone has anything to talk about or ask about the topic that I'm talking in the session, you can drop a message, and I'll talk about that at the end of the session, and also at the end we'll have a 5 to 10 minutes uh, uh, interactive session in which you can ask any questions and no. Okay. So let's start the presentation here. Hope you're able to see my screen right now. Yeah. So we have started this on the occasion of World Ocean Day, as you know about it. Uh, what is a World Ocean Day? Why is it celebrated? So oceans are very important ecosystems, yeah, and we have very intensive and interesting connection with oceans. Though we live in the land and we don't want to admit it. Let's talk about the importance of oceans. Why do you think oceans are important? Anyone in message box? You can drop your inputs in the message box about why you think oceans are important. Carbon sink, good. And any more? Any more answers? Why oceans are important? For climate regulation and so let me tell about why oceans are important in general. Okay, water cycle, water source. Okay, production is good. Good, they go. Anything else? Huh. So oceans are very important for us. Uh, 1 minute. Yeah, if anyone wants to talk about the answers, you can unmute yourself, talk and mute your options. Yeah, anyone wants to talk, you can unmute and say your opinion and mute again. The one. Okay. So many of you know that plants are really important for us, right? Because they're important for maintaining the oxygen level in our atmosphere. And yeah, Kiran, you have something to say? Please speak out. You can unmute and speak and mute later. I can hear you. Yeah, anyway, so as you know, plants and trees are very important for carbon dioxide and oxygen balance in the atmosphere. And most the important thing that people don't know is initially when the earth is still starting to create life in it, 70% of oxygen was created by planktonic organisms. Okay, so plankton are these tiny microscopic organisms that you cannot see but live in the ocean, and they drift with all the oceanic action. These organisms are called plankton. And some of these organisms also can do photosynthesis, just like plants and trees and other photosynthetic organisms. And 70% of our atmospheric oxygen actually came from these planktonic organisms and not trees and plants. So if you want the balance of oxygen to stay the same way it is right now, we have to conserve the oceans, not just do plantations. As even now, 50% of the atmospheric oxygen comes from the oceans through plankton and through algae and other plants called seagrasses that live inside the sea. So this is one importance. We also get a lot of economy from the oceans, the blue economy. We actually sustain on a lot of food source from the ocean, maybe fishes or shrimps or shellfish, finfish, and many other ways, right? So oceans are important. We do understand that right now. So let's talk about the sea next to us in Andhra Pradesh. What is uniqueness about it, and why we have to, what we have to know about the coast we have. So, though Andhra Pradesh is not much focused when it comes to marine life or ocean conservation or ocean research in general, Andhra has the second largest coast in India after Gujarat. We have a very long coast of 940 kilometers, and we have many ecosystems, marine ecosystems. As you know, when you're talking about ecosystems on land, we know forests are a type of ecosystem, grassland is another type of ecosystem, wetlands are another type of ecosystem. We know that different types of wilderness ecosystems are there, right? In the same way, even in oceans, it's not a single ecosystem, but there are multiple ecosystems which are unique by themselves and are self-sustainable by themselves. Okay, so we'll learn more about various ecosystems that are in Andhra Pradesh also. We also have very high ocean-dependent fisheries, and there are 555 landing centers. Landing centers are the places where fishes are caught and brought back and sold. We have 555 landing centers in Andhra Pradesh, and we are one of the largest exporters of seafood. So, as we have large coast and we are regularly exploiting the marine life, it's very important to know more about it, right? That's why Andhra coast is unique, because it's large. It has a lot of stakeholders that depend on the ocean. One way, it's fishermen who depend on the fisheries. In another way, we have Eastern Naval Command, so we depend on oceans even for security. So they are very important if you actually look into it. So we were talking about various ecosystems, right? What are the ecosystems that we have in Andhra Pradesh? Any answers on what are the marine ecosystems in general? Anyone can tell in the chat box, or can unmute and tell. No one wants to speak out. Sorry, who's there? Corals, yeah, corals are there. Again, you think corals are there in Andhra Pradesh? Good. Mangrove, Anusha garu. And anything else? Okay, let me get to you now. So, people who have attended our walks already know about this ecosystem, intertidal ecosystem. How many of you have attended our walks, which we do in Vizag? Intertidal walks. Raviteja, Soumya, Anusha, Deepu, most of you, right? Most of you might have attended. So, intertidal area is also an ecosystem by itself. It's called intertidal ecosystem. Okay, because whatever organisms live in the intertidal area is the area between high tide and low tide. Okay, for people who have not attended our walks, let me again clearly tell about this. So there are many physical factors in the ocean. There are waves that you usually see whenever you go into the beach. There are currents. Currents is the water flow inside the ocean, and there are tides. Tides means, if you see in the picture, the water is a little behind, right? That is because it is low tide. Okay. After 6 hours, the same water comes up to here, towards the end of this picture, and at that time it is high tide. So every day we have 2 low tides and 2 high tides. And the area between the low tide and high tide is called intertidal area or intertidal ecosystem. The picture that you see here shows the intertidal ecosystem. And a lot of organisms actually live here. You can, for people who came already know, we saw anemones, starfishes, sea urchins and everything. And also you can see a big mat of algae in the area that you see. So they are the primary producers here, and there are also plankton which produce, and all the other organisms consumes them. And whatever dies and decays, the crabs consume them. And there are a lot of organisms that consume the dead and decayed animals also. So the entire nutrient cycle happens in this place itself. That's why it is an ecosystem by itself. We have intertidal ecosystem, which is very unique. And the shore that you are seeing here is a rocky shore. In the same way, there is sandy shore intertidal ecosystem. There is also muddy shore intertidal ecosystem. So even in the intertidal ecosystems, there are much further classifications. And mangroves, someone was telling mangroves, good job. We do have mangroves in Andhra Pradesh. Mangrove ecosystem is a very interesting ecosystem. And for people who have raised their hands, do you have any questions? Do you want to ask something? Soumya, Anish, or Deepu, do you guys want to ask some questions as you join? Okay, got it. So yeah, so we also have mangrove ecosystems in Andhra Pradesh. What are mangroves? Does everyone here know what mangroves are? Anyone that doesn't know what mangroves are and you want me to explain about mangrove forests? Anyone wants to know more about? Yeah, Pallavi, do you want to know about mangrove forests or do you already have? Okay, you would like to know. Adil, okay. Uh, cool. So mangrove forests are very unique type of forests that grow only in areas where river meets the seas. Okay, where river meets the sea, there is also influence of seawater into the river. Okay, so what happens here is a lot of fresh water comes from the river and salt water comes from the ocean, and there is medium salinity area, medium salt area that forms in the middle. What happens here is very unique plants called mangrove plants start growing in that area. They can only grow in areas which have medium salinity like this. Okay, so these mangrove ecosystems are present in these areas where ocean meets the river, right? These areas are called estuarine areas. So mangroves actually live in estuarine areas. Okay, and this is an ecosystem by itself because these mangrove trees provide a lot of primary productivity to the ecosystem, and a lot of organisms actually depend on these trees for their survival. And a lot of fishes and shrimps and crabs from the ocean migrate into these ecosystems to lay their eggs here and use them as nursery grounds. Okay, and after the fishes or shrimps emerge from the egg, these areas are used for protection by them until they become big enough to fend for themselves and use these areas feeding grounds also. And also mangroves are very important feeding grounds even for birds and also breeding grounds for a lot of birds. So they have a lot of importance here. And yeah, let's talk about not only about why they are important this way, but for us. Okay. Very interestingly, mangroves can take 5 to 7 times more carbon than regular forests. That means one mangrove, 1 acre of mangrove forest can actually take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere equal to 7 acres of regular forests. Just imagine how much oxygen is being created from them and how much carbon dioxide is being taken away from the atmosphere. So these are very important for the time now where climate change has been a real problem for everyone, right? So this ecosystem is also very important for two reasons. One is for climate change, and another one, a lot of food source for us. The shellfish and finfish actually come here to lay their eggs and actually improve their populations. So it's important in many other ways. And this is something that most of us don't know. How many of you know what a seagrass is? Ram Prasad, can you do you want to tell what a seagrass is? Anyone else?
Yeah, actually, those are the grasses which grow at the bottom of the sea.
Okay, good. That is simple definition. Very good. Anyone else?
It would be nice if you could just brief it up for all of us now.
Yeah, I'll explain it anyway. So I just wanted to know what it is if someone knows it, want to give a chance to explain. So seagrass ecosystems, see, you have plants and grasses in the open areas here, right, on the land. In the same way, a species of plant also lives underwater in the sea. Okay, many species of plants. These plants, 1 minute, someone wants to join. Okay, so these plants that we are talking about are called seagrasses. So any plant that lives under the sea can be called a seagrass. But very interesting thing about seagrass is, like we spoke about mangroves. You can see the photo here, right? How thick the grass is. So what happens is this is a good protective environment for smaller fishes, eggs, and all these things. So for a lot of organisms like sharks or even other fishes and crabs, these are areas where they can put their eggs and let them hatch and feed on these grasses and grow in their population. But also, in the same way that mangroves are, these also can absorb more carbon than regular forests. So these are very important ecosystems for us. And our team has recently discovered 300 hectares of seagrass meadows in Andhra Pradesh, which these ecosystems were ignored from almost 2 decades, and no study has been done on any of the seagrasses from Andhra Pradesh before. From last 2 or 3 decades. And whatever work we are starting will be very helpful. And we have had really good help in researching on the seagrasses from Wildlife Institute of India also. And we have this in East Godavari district. We have this ecosystem also. And the other type of ecosystems that also are seen here are reefs, like someone is telling coral reefs, right? We have reefs, but the coral population is not very high to call them coral reefs. We also have deep sea ecosystems, that is quite deep areas where certain types of animals live, and everything is interconnected. And we have estuarine ecosystems. Just like mangroves, there are also estuaries where mangroves are not present, but still ecosystem thrives. And we have lagoons. Lagoons are the types of ecosystems in which, while the land is on this side and the ocean is on this side, if a depression happens into the land, this water actually flows into it and forms a lake kind of thing in the land, while it's a salt water. Okay, it's a saltwater lake that is connected to sea. So these areas are called lagoons. What happens here is lagoons will not be affected by a wave action. So these are also very good grounds that are important for marine environment, because these are most of the areas which have lagoons also have seagrasses and mangroves. So this is an ecosystem that is very important too. Okay, Kiran Kumar, what did you hear about? What do you want to know about specifically? Okay, I'll go to the next slide then. Presenting tab. Yeah, Ramprasad, do you have something to say? Yeah, please speak if you have something to say.
Yeah, we have the sea turtle in Andhra Pradesh.
Yeah, we do have sea turtles also. 1 minute, I have some issue here.
Okay.
I have an issue with presentation. I'll get back to you in a minute.
మాట్లాడింది నేను ఈవినింగ్ మూడు రెండు అమ్మాయి ఫోన్ చేసి వెంటనే అలా పేరు చెప్పాడు అమ్మాయి కాదు వెంటనే నేను ఈవినింగ్ అప్డేట్ చేసి సార్తో మాట్లాడి రాత్రి ఏం మాట్లాడారు.
Okay. Sorry, we have a small issue with the presentation. Just getting back to it. Which one do you want to put? This one? Yeah. This opera issue also. Using opera not extended. But it's immediately changing. No issue. We'll do one thing. Share the presentation. I'll share it. Yeah, Ramprasad, please keep talking. You had something to talk about. Meanwhile, we'll sort out the presentation issue.
Sure.
Please tell me what did you speak about?
Um, we spoke about the fishy cat and the sea turtle.
Okay.
And fishy cats are like found, but they are a unique species.
Yeah.
Plus, there are otters found in the water bodies of Andhra Pradesh.
Nice, nice, nice. So yeah, as we are talking about these seagrasses, and after that we have other unique ecosystems here, right? So what what else do we know about marine life in Andhra Pradesh? What are the species that you think are here? Someone is talking about sea turtles, right? Yeah. Yeah, we do have sea turtles, as you were mentioning before, and these sea turtles that we have in our state are olive ridley sea turtles mainly, which actually nest here and lay their eggs here. But we also have other species of sea turtles that go by, which is green sea turtle and also hawksbill sea turtle. We have those two species of sea turtles also here, but we don't see them nesting here. They usually go for laying their eggs or nesting in the equatorial region and mostly near Andamans and other islands in the equatorial region. We're just sorting out this presentation thing.
Plus, there are also saltwater crocodiles found in that region.
Yeah, saltwater crocodiles are also present in Andamans. Yes, very good. So, as we are solving this issue, can we, if anyone has anything, any questions or queries regarding marine life, we can talk about it meanwhile. Anyone wants to talk? Lakshman or Deepu or any others? Okay, we are back. Can you guys see the slides now? Hello?
Yes, we can.
So another thing that many of us don't know is we have a very good shark population in Andhra Pradesh. So anyone can identify the sharks that you see here on the screen? Anyone?
Hammerhead.
Hammerhead, good job. Who said that? And?
Whale shark.
Good job. Good. And?
Tiger shark.
Nice, nice. Very good. And who is this?
My name is Pallavi. This is my daughter Viha.
Oh, hi. Nice, nice. Good job identifying this. So we do have a good shark population here, and most commonly seen sharks. I mean, not seen exactly, but through indirect evidences. I mean, there is a lot of shark fishing that happens in Andhra Pradesh. So most commonly caught sharks are hammerhead sharks and tiger sharks. And we have also been seeing whale sharks stranding in some areas or accidentally being caught in some areas. Marine mammals. Do you know what marine mammals are?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, what are the? I mean, please tell me if you know what a marine mammal is.
So marine mammals are mammals found in the marine habitat. Porpoises, dolphins, whales, etc.
Dolphins, whales, etc. Very good, very good. That's right. So, yeah, as you can see here, these marine mammals that you see on the screen are all stranded or dead marine mammals, right? So they are dead and then washed up to shore. You can see finless porpoises here, whales, dolphins, etc. These are all images from Andhra coast, and this is the data collected from Andhra coast. And you can see we have sperm whales here, we have baleen whales. What are baleen whales? Baleen whales are the whales which have baleen plates in their mouth instead of teeth. Okay. These do filter feeding. That means they open their mouth and then they keep going, and whatever comes into their mouth, it gets filtered by these baleen plates, and they feed on what got filtered. Okay. And most of the baleen whales like blue whales or humpback whales, they do not eat larger animals. They cannot swallow anything larger than this size. So they always eat very tiny animals, mainly like plankton or krill or tiny fishes, and do not harm humans at all. And we have huge varieties of marine mammals in our waters. We have sperm whales, we have blue whales, we have brides whales, we have finless porpoises, we have humpback dolphins, we have bottlenose dolphins. We have multiple species of marine mammals in our area. Okay, so not only sharks, but we have interesting marine mammals in our oceans, but we hardly know about them, right? So, and what else are there? Most of you have come to our intertidal walks, right? So we have gathered information about more than 180 species of intertidal organisms through our walks, and you are already familiar about them. As I'm telling you, we have 940 kilometers of shore, and most of it is not explored. We don't know much about it. We are still learning about it, and not much research has been done. And most of the animals that we spoke about before, the hammerhead shark is a critically endangered animal, tiger shark is a vulnerable animal, and whale shark is also critically endangered animal. So these are very endangered. They are going to get extinct if we don't do something about their hunting practices. In the same way, the marine mammals that we saw about, half of them are endangered and are going extinct because of various reasons like pollution, temperature rise, overfishing. Overfishing is fishing more than what is there. Okay, all this is happening. While all the threats are happening, still we don't know a lot about oceans. Still we have to understand a lot about these oceans. So what are we doing? What is our organization doing to understand this? So here is what we have done from last 2 years. So we have started focusing on seagrass research and conservation, shark and ray research and conservation, and marine mammal stranding recording. Okay. We are doing seagrass conservation work, seagrass documentation and research work, and WII has been helping us. And we have been collecting shark and ray data ourselves, and also in collaboration with Imran Samad from IISc. And Dipani Sutaria has been helping a lot in guiding on marine mammal work. So whatever we want to work and whatever we want to do for conservation, we cannot do alone, and we are collaborating with different organizations and individuals to achieve whatever we have to achieve. So we have also done 60 biodiversity walks and 20 talks, creating awareness for 2,000 plus citizens and students. We were also mentioned in 20 plus newspapers and journals, etc. And there were also 2 scientific journal publications by us. And we are also part of first Wetland Management Committee of Andhra Pradesh, which is Kondakarlava Lake Wetland Management Committee. So this is all we have been doing from past 2 years for this. And what else we have been doing? Awareness programs, as we spoke about, and we have also done training sessions for forest department regarding marine life and also for wetland conservation in some areas. Yeah. And here is an image of hammerhead sharks being caught and sold in our fishing harbor in Visakhapatnam. So let's know more about sharks. So in India, we have 88 species of sharks, and 30% of them are endangered. But only four of them are protected by law, and four of them are restricted from fishing. Remaining all can be fished, and no one will talk about it. So that is a major problem. Here we have grey bamboo shark in this photo and illustration. Bamboo sharks are seen every day in our harbor being caught. We have whale shark, which is endangered. Tiger shark and hammerhead shark, someone has very nicely identified them before. These are all common sharks seen here. And this is a thresher shark. This is also endangered and regularly caught in Visakhapatnam and Kakinada coasts. And the interesting fact about the thresher shark is their long, caudal fin, or you can call it tail also if you want to. And the tail is as big as the animal itself. So it can actually swim through a shoal of fishes, hit the shoal with its tail, make the fishes lose their balance and eat them later. So these interesting sharks are also in our waters. This is a whale shark being rescued by fishermen in Srikakulam district. This is still a whale shark pup in the sense small whale shark. Whale sharks can grow up to 20-25 meters. So this is very small when compared to the adult size. And it is accidentally caught. So in the last 2 years, 6 such things happened throughout Andhra. These endangered whale sharks have been stranded, some died and some survived. And this is the information about it. Marine mammal stranding data we have been collecting, as you saw before. Let's learn more about whales. Why are whales important? See this beautiful and interesting video so that you'll understand more about why whales are important. This is a publicly available video that I've kept in the slide, so you would all know why whales are important, why we have to conserve them.
We can't hear anything.
Can't hear it? Sorry. 1 minute. Can you guys hear now?
Can't hear.
Can you hear?
Yes, sir.
Sorry? Acha, okay. Yeah. So hope that video has been helpful to you guys. And yeah, let's get back to the presentation. All the list of marine mammals that you have been seeing here is all collected from Andhra Pradesh. And once the information is collected, we also try to understand the cause of death by doing necropsy, which we are still waiting for permissions to do that. Once the necropsy is done, we'll exactly know why the animals have actually died. So what's the reason? Because of plastic ingestion, or road traffic, or what it is. Okay. Once we understand that, we can work on solution for the same and conserve the animals slowly.
How do they do? How do they see what's? How did the creature die? Like, what did they do?
So, did you hear about something called post-mortem before?
Yes.
So they actually, after the animal dies, they cut the animal to understand. They cut the digestive system. They also check the animal for any damages that it has on it, to see how it died. Okay, if an animal, if for example a dolphin died because of excessive plastic ingestion, what happens is the plastic will be accumulated in its digestive system, no? So when
Yes.
they cut the digestive system, they'll see plastic and they'll understand this is the reason animal died. Or if the animal died because of boat accident, then there will be some damages on the body, no? Cuts from the boat engine or whatever it is. So they can understand how it actually happened. So depending on the information we get over about from the strandings over 1 or 2 years, we can understand what the real problem is and work on solving that problem so that future deaths will not happen as much as they are happening right now. So this is how marine mammal conservation is also done usually. And yeah, so these are the ecosystem and animals that we usually see. We also have a lot of more sea animals that we actually see in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, we have marlins, sailfishes. These are the fastest swimming fishes in the ocean, but they are regularly caught here. How many of you that joined here consume fish? It's okay. Consumption of fish is not wrong thing. You can admit. How many of you eat fish? Ajay, Supratika, and one more person, Pallavi. Okay. So, did you hear about a fish called? I mean, all of you are Telugu, right? Are you all Telugu? So in Telugu, marlin is also called as Komukono. Komukono ఎప్పుడైనా తిన్నారా? Did you guys have Komukono before? What about you, Supratika and Pallavi?
I don't understand Telugu, so I can't.
Acha, okay. So marlins are regularly consumed in Andhra Pradesh. You have written Vanjaram, Ajay. Nice. So Vanjaram is another fish that is eaten here, and that is not the fish I'm talking about. So marlins are these fishes which have sword-like snout. Sword fishes, they can also be sword fishes, called sword fishes by some. They're the fastest fishes and they are quite regularly caught in our coast. We also have very many other unique species, and recently a small reef of corals also is found in Pudimadaka area of Andhra Pradesh by Zoological Survey of India. So that's an interesting thing again. And yeah, there's a lot we can talk about marine life, but only if we can do something about marine life, then there is some purpose about talking. As you are aware of marine life that is around us now, we can talk about it. If you have any questions regarding marine ecosystems here or any other marine life here or want to know more about it, you can always ask in this session. Now the session is open for discussion. If anyone wants to ask questions or talk about any topic. Anyone?
crocodiles found there mainly like about on the lands of where the river
So
is.
in Andhra Pradesh, we don't have saltwater crocodiles. Usually, saltwater crocodiles are found in estuarine areas and also in the oceans near estuarine areas. But though we have mangrove forests in East Godavari, Koringa Sanctuary, etc., we don't have saltwater crocodiles living there. So in Andhra Pradesh, there is no current distribution of saltwater crocodiles, but saltwater crocodiles can be seen in Bhitarkanika Wildlife Sanctuary, Bhitarkanika National Park, sorry, in Odisha. But here, if you want to see a crocodile, we don't have saltwater crocodiles, but we have muggers, which are freshwater crocodiles. They are seen in Godavari River Delta, in the higher elevation areas. Anything else?
And are there mudskippers?
Yeah, mudskippers are seen in mangrove ecosystems. They are quite normally seen. And if we can arrange a talk specifically about mangroves, I can talk about every single species that we usually see in mangrove ecosystems. Like you were talking about fishing cats, otters, mudskippers, crabs, and everything. Pallavi, yeah, please go ahead.
Where can you find mudskippers?
We can find in mangrove forests. There are mangrove forests in East Godavari district, Kakinada, near Kakinada city, and interestingly, we also have a small patch of mangrove forest in Visakhapatnam, in the industrial area, where you have HPCL and all these right now, but public are not allowed into the forest as half of it is under Navy control and half into industrial control. So, if you want to see a mudskipper, you can plan to visit mangroves near Kakinada.
Okay.
Anything else? Anyone else?
Do we have otters in April?
Yeah, we have very interesting. We have otters in Visakhapatnam district. I mean now Anakapalli district in Kondakarlava Lake, but that is not a marine ecosystem though. That is a lake, freshwater lake ecosystem. We have otters there also. And in the mangrove forest that we were talking about, we have otters and fishing cats also. Anything else? Lakshman or Anish or anyone has to talk about? Yeah, Pallavi, please go ahead.
I'm attending a talk for the first time by you. I saw it on Soumya's status.
Okay.
I don't know about you. May I know a little bit about you?
Okay. So I didn't get you clearly. Can you please-
I don't know about the work that you or East Coast Conservation Team does.
Achha, okay, sure. So, East Coast Conservation Team is a small NGO working from Visakhapatnam, and we work on marine and small wildlife conservation projects. So, the main project that we have going on right now is seagrass and shark conservation projects. So, we are collecting data on why sharks are caught here and how many sharks are caught. And thank you, Sai. Yeah. Why sharks are being caught and what's the economical and other reasons why it is happening. So we have been collecting data from over a year, and we have been seeing a lot of endangered sharks being caught. But also we are trying to come up with ideas on reducing this shark, shark catches so that they don't go extinct locally in our area. And we also recently discovered seagrass ecosystems in East Godavari. We are working on conserving them because that area is not protected. That 300 hectares of seagrass area is prone to being destroyed in near future. So we are also working with local communities in protecting that area. And other than this, we also have a coming up project on marine mammals. We are trying to create awareness not only in educated public but also in fishermen communities, which is very much required because they are the people who have to take the action to conserve the. We also give talks to other stakeholders like Navy and Coast Guard, because they also come across all these animals on a regular basis and have a lot of things to contribute. So we are working with them. But other than that, on a regular basis, what we do is we do these walks in creating awareness in collaboration with Wilded. So we have Vimal in the call, who is the co-founder of Wilded, and we have been doing awareness walks and everything, and also interesting sessions for children to attend. Vimal, do you want to talk more about citizen science? Vimal, are you on the call? Yeah. Yeah, Vimal is here. He'll join the call. Come. Yeah. I'll let him talk about citizen science and how we are involving and creating awareness to regular citizens through our walks.
Yeah, that's happening. Yeah. Hi everyone. Okay, citizen science. So, I mean, what was the most attractive part of today's talks poster of Pranav being a marine biologist and learning about all of the marine life, right? So, marine biologist, and all of you are not marine biologists, right? And that's a difficult task to learn about a lot of stuff, do research, and you know what Pranav has been doing on. But okay, let's say a layman like me who was just wandering around the beach and just saw some interesting stuff. So that's how it started for me. Around a couple of years back, I went by the 1080 beach coast, and then I saw during the low tide some little circular things all together, and almost if put on internet, it would be called as trypophobia or something, because it's a lot of circles together, which is really bizarre looking creatures all over. So I was wondering, oh, what is this? I had no clue what it was. But then it did pique my interest and intrigued me on, oh, what this possibly might be. And I didn't know the answers. And as any layman would do, I just went around clicking photos and trying to find out people on, oh, what is this? I'm just asking people around. I mean, have you come across insects or anything around you which you usually don't know the name of, but then you've just come across and you're trying to find out more about it? If yes, you can raise a hand. Yeah, okay. No raising hand this time, it's cool. Yeah. So now imagine all of us citizens together are coming together and spotting a lot of things around like this. Like this evening, I was at a little restaurant, and then suddenly one of my colleagues pointed out at her bag and told, oh, there's this ant crawling around, can you just put it away? And then in time, I suddenly realized it was not an ant, it was actually an ant mimicking spider. So the idea here of citizen science is, imagine all of us go around and then we just observe and connect with the nature around, and in the process, we actually collect, in the most scientific terms of science, we collect data. So let's say Anish here has spotted a tree which has a very specific kind of leaf or something which he doesn't know about. So he clicks a photo of that. And Tejaswini here has spotted some bizarre looking insect crawling around out of her household. So all of you went to the beach and then you guys spotted a lot of different stuff. So together, all of this information, when collated together, is a lot of data. And by data or information, I mean, okay, let's imagine this. There's this mountain, and that mountain, you're gone trekking on that mountain, and then suddenly you came across this shiny little golden rock. And then in time you got to know, oh, this mountain has a lot of gold ore in it. Now, what do you do with that mountain? Now, what does anyone do with that mountain? Any answers, random answers? I would definitely go with a couple of my friends and dig as much of gold as I can. But what would you guys do? You can just unmute and answer.
Report to some miners.
Report to a miner. Oh, interesting, yeah. What would you do, Anish? Okay, Soumya would mine it as well. Priyanka, what would you do?
Mine it for sure.
Okay, so everyone is mining it for sure. Great. Now comes okay. Soumya also wrote
Or
mine.
we
Or
can also inform conservationists.
uh-huh. Interesting. So see, now we have two polarity of answers. Some of you want to collaborate with a miner and take as much of gold as possible, and then one of you again came up with this answer saying, "Oh, I'll collaborate with some conservationist and then do something about it." Okay, conserve gold. Okay. Now let's just take this example of gold to all of the biodiversity around us. Now together we find all of this biodiversity, and with this information, one, we definitely have this information understanding what kind of biodiversity is around us. We may not know the names, we may not know what it is, but we still have some solid proof of a creature around you. Now, all of us coming together, and let's say experts like Pranav or other marine biologists, people who are into insects, entomologists, and all of these guys come together. Now, they can't travel everywhere trying to spot all of the marine life around or the biodiversity around. So, we, as citizen scientists, go around, explore, wonder about different things, and then actually click pictures or in different forms record this biodiversity and come back collecting this data. And together, citizen scientists, biologists, entomologists, conservationists, politicians, government, and whatnot can do something about this data together. Now, people who are from Vishakhapatnam, imagine tomorrow we get to know that a lot of rare species are at the Rushikonda beach, which we have not recorded before and which we randomly find on one of our intertidal walks. Now, this information can be very crucial when tomorrow, if the government suddenly plans to build a big flyover right on the beach, like what we have seen in the Mumbai scene, where do we have the information to fight our battle for these voiceless creatures in all ways possible? It can be scientific, it can be ecological, it can be simply cultural, because it's not just these beings which depend on this information, but there's also the fisherman community and who not. So this is where we come down as citizen scientists who in their own capacity, in their own power, simply by strolling around can collect a lot of data which can be crucial in making some biggest decisions or also in breaking them in whatever way this information comes across and is useful. Make sense?
Yeah.
Any questions regarding the same? I definitely would have a question like, okay, you're talking about collecting data, but collecting data how and where? I mean, we all don't know each other. Now we are on this call, but how do we later reach out to each other? I mean, yes, WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, there are different groups on which we can collate this information. But there's also a platform called iNaturalist, which is a citizen science platform. I'm just noting down the name and the chat. You can have access to this app, a computer app, both on your browser or Android, iPhone, etc., on which you can actually take pictures or you can post pre-taken pictures on your camera and so on. And there is a big community of people who will actually help you identify, and also all of this data on a broad demographic sense is recorded on that app, which means that you have access to this data both as a citizen and also people who are doing proper research have access to this data. Any other doubts? I think so not. Okay. So I hope that at least gives an essence of what citizen science is to all of you. Yes?
Yes. How? Where can we?
Pardon, Palvi, can you just come again?
Where can we mail?
Where can we?
Mail you. Email.
Email. Oh, sure. Pranav,
Drop our email address there.
yeah, you can just type it out. And I think we're also on Instagram with the name of
Coast Conservation Team and Wildlife India.
ECCT team ఉందా ఏదో ఉంది.
Oh, executive.
ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ చెప్పు.
ECCT team.
ECCT EAM or again this way.
ECCT TEAM.
Okay, ECCT team. Yeah, that's where you can reach out and yeah, I think if you reach out to us on, yes, Soumya has also shared the Instagram ID for ECCT team, and if you there's a WhatsApp group as well where we constantly post updates about our walks or any events that we have. Soumya, can you just copy? Okay, wait, I'll just do that. I'll just send it to you. I think you can put that as well. Pranav, can you share with Soumya the WhatsApp group link for biodiversity? All right, I think that wraps up most of what we wanted to talk about. Pranav, do you want to say like bye, thanks, stuff like that?
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for joining, and thanks everyone for joining. We are done with the talk. Sorry for people who have joined just now.
So, for those of you who want to share this talk, it's there recorded on the YouTube channel, live stream. So that link you can just find it on. I think you can also share it. Soumya, can you share the YouTube link also here in the chat? So you can just share them the link.
Thank you so much. I'm dropping. I have sent you a message on Instagram and I'll be in touch.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you all. You can just reach out on Instagram. We'll send you the links and stuff there. All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining. If you have
Bye.
if you have anything to ask, you can always drop us an email, as email has been mentioned and Instagram has been mentioned in the chat here. Yeah, thank you.